Hey everybody, my name is Martin Williams. Thank you for purchasing this uh, system, the One Idea system. It's really one of the most simplest systems that I've ever used to help you be more productive. A lot of times, what happens is that people have a lot of ideas, and a lot of ideas are a good thing. They're not, it's not a bad thing to have a lot of ideas, but you got to be able to sort them out and figure out which ones you want to use, which ones you want to execute on. And that is one of the reasons I came up with this system to help people quickly filter out the ideas that, maybe you're not that passionate about. Maybe it's an idea that sounds good, but are you really ready to execute it? Is it just about making a lot of money? Is it something that you're really called to or drawn to? And also, being realistic about how long that idea will take to execute and get off the ground and get into the inboxes of people who could really be blessed by them. So that's why I made this system, and hopefully it will be of service to you. So I wanted to do this quick video to just kind of go over the system itself, to kind of anticipate the types of questions that people might have when they start going through it. And, the hopes are that you find this easy and something that you can start working on right away. So as I alluded to in the beginning, suffering from too many ideas, I wouldn't necessarily use that term suffering seriously, because like I said, a lot of ideas can be a good thing, but the problem is that we need to take action. Okay, if you don't take action on any ideas, then they're not going to be of any benefit to you. So it's important for you to really get clear on what is it that I want to do, right? As far as what is the thing that I really want to take action on, and then take action on it right away. So what is the framework of the One Idea system, right? You want to write down all your ideas. I don't care if it's 3, I don't care if it's 100, 200. You want to write them all down, because within all of those ideas can be, the 3 or 4 ideas that can truly change your life. So you want to write them all down and get really clear about that. All right. So once you've written all those ideas down, and you can write them down on, just a scrap sheet of paper. I included a worksheet that you can enter, and also included a spreadsheet, which I will go over um, before this video is completed. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. All right. So you want to write down all your ideas. That's number one. And then the second step is you want to write down the estimated time it's going to take to do them all, right? And remember that things often take longer than they should, okay? And when you figure out what that time frame is going to be, you want to assign a point system, okay? So if it's going to take 30 days or less, make that 4 points. If it's going to take, 1 to 3 months, make that 3 points. 3 to 6 months, 2 points. 6 months or longer, 1 point, right? And I'll explain why I scored these this way soon, okay? But for now, decide how long everything's going to take, assign a point system, and then go to the second step or the third step. This one's a little more subjective, but you know more than anyone how motivated you are to do a certain thing, right? So if you're very motivated, then you can assign 4 points, right? If you're somewhat motivated, 3 points. If you're kind of on the fence, and somewhat could be on the fence too, but you're kind of leaning more towards being motivated. Being mad is when you're truly on the fence, and you could just kind of go either way. You would assign it 2 points, and then not motivated is 1 point. And then finally, what you want to do is that you want to assess the need for this thing, right? And one quick way to do that is to assess this by using Google, right? So I'm going to pull up Google to show you what I mean. So let's say that we're talking about like a landscaping business, right? So if I were a customer or a prospect, I would search for a landscaping. I can spell it right. Landscaping near companies near me, right? And I live in Sarasota, Florida, right? So I would search for landscaping companies near me, right? And then I would take the results. Now these are, this is kind of like a loose tool, but I think it's a good tool to use. I mean, you gotta have something to go by, right? So the results here are 378 million results near me. Okay. Now, if I were a landscaper, okay, how would I assess that demand? Right. So, landscaping companies near me, um, that's a customer, right? That's how a customer would be searching, right? But as a landscaper, I would it would be Sarasota landscaping companies, right? Okay. So what this does, and I didn't explain it very well, but what this does, this gives me the list of all the Sarasota and landscaping companies. So this is going to pull up more listings than anything. The customer wants to find a company near that person. So the customer would say, landscaping company near me, right? To find a listing of actual companies, this is probably a better representation of the search results. So it's more like um, it's more like 3.2 million results, right? And so when you go into the Google My Business listing here, right, and you start looking at all the different results, okay? So basically, the way that I would, assess this is that I would say for the amount of people that are looking for landscaping, it's probably a good bet that that there's more of a need here, as well as, excuse me, there's more of a need here. There's more of a need for landscapers than um, the amount of landscapers there are to fill the need. Okay, so that's kind of a local example, but let's try web design, right? So if I need a web designer, I'm gonna put in a web designer needed, or better yet, web designer near me. Okay? So that web designer near me, right? So that's like 9.3 billion results. So let's whittle that down some, and I'll say web designer near Sarasota. Right? So that's 60 million, which is a little bit less, right? And so I'm going to write that number down, 60 million people. And then for the Sarasota um, web design company or web design firms, I'm going to type that in. So it's like 1.8 million results, right? And there aren't 1.8 million web design firms in Sarasota. It's probably closer to maybe 70, right? And these are just people who advertise on Google. There may be even more. So just based on the search results, right? Based on the search results, if it's, 60 million people and only 60 or 70 or so firms, then I think it's fair to say that there's a need here, right? So that's just a crude way of saying it. So what I'm saying is that you can kind of gauge if there's a need for um, something. If there's more people searching for it than more people providing the service, then the demand is greater than the supply. So let's go back to our sheet. Okay. So if the demand is greater than the supply, that means it's very needed. And that means that you can score it at 3 points. If it's somewhat needed, that the meaning that the supply equals the demand, then you could score that out at 1 point. Excuse me, at 2 points. If the supply is greater than the demand, then you can score it at 1 point. Okay? So what you're going to do after that, you're going to multiply all scores. So I use an example here. And I said that if I were thinking about making a course on WordPress, I ascertained that it would take roughly less than 30 days to make that course, right? How motivated am I? I'm not super motivated if I'm being truthful. Okay, so I'll put that out at 2 points, and then the need is somewhat needed because there are a lot of people who provide courses for WordPress, but there's a lot of need. So I would say the demand is a little bit higher than the supply. So I scored that out at 16. Then the second one was to write an ebook, okay, about a topic that I've been thinking about. Same time frame, less than 30 days, right? Motivated, I'm a little more motivated to write this than I am to do the course. Somewhat needed. People are looking for answers, but there's also quite a bit of providers out there. But I put that out at 24 points. So in this scenario, the higher score gets worked on first until completion. Okay? So I start working on the book first before the course because it has the higher score. Now, why would I do that? Now, this is subjective in a way, but to me, it's better than nothing. And I think it's better than doing nothing, which is what a lot of people do. A lot of people just end up doing nothing. They end up choosing nothing. And what happens is that, you waste a lot of time and you got all these ideas, but you don't execute on any of them, right? And then any new ideas are put into the framework and prioritized the same way. So this is more or less a schematic of what I just said. So the time of completion, and then you multiply that by how motivated you are, and then the expected demand. And again, this is, This is not like an end all be all type of thing. It's just a gauge, right? Another way to test demand, by the way, is how many people. You can just use your own eyes and ears. How many people are always asking about these types of things, like like let's say house cleaning, for example. There's always work for house cleaners because people don't like cleaning, right? They don't like it. So you know, you could probably put the demand at 3 for something like that. Anything that people hate doing, whether it's cleaning, painting, moving, um, anything that people just hate doing, you can always put the demand at the high number, that 3 points, because um, there's more people that need it than people that are doing it. So that's just a general rule. The total idea score will be the multiple of all 3 of those things. So once you've figured out those ideas, once you've entered out all those ideas, and you put them on the spreadsheet, right? You're going to score all your ideas on the spreadsheet, right? And the spreadsheet is something that I actually linked in your email once you get this course. And do I have it? Of course I don't. So let me go ahead and pull that up for you. Yeah. Okay, here it is. So, excuse me. Um, for that particular spreadsheet, right? And you could just put any idea in here. And what you'll do is that you will estimate the time and then click that drop down, and it'll put in whatever, right? And then you'll put the number score of that choice, right? So if it's 4, 30 days or less, you're going to put the estimated time score in at 4. And then for the motivation level, if it's 3, you're going to put in the score, the motivation level is 3. And then 1, not really needed. How many people really need a scrapbook, right? Probably not that much. But just put it in there anyway, right? And then the total score will be 12, right? And then you can just kind of, work from there, right? So you put all your ideas in here, and you need a Google Docs account for this, but you can also download this to Excel. And then if you're more of an Excel person, you can just kind of download it to Excel. Yep, right there, and that way you can open it in Excel if that's how you want to do it. So that's basically the one idea system in a nutshell. You're going to filter for the highest score, right? So what you would do here is whatever the highest score is, you're going to draw a filter on that, and then just basically go from high to low, and that will be the idea that you work on. Now, if you adhere to this system, you'll waste less time. You won't procrastinate as much because you'll make a decision. And all this does basically is it helps you make a decision, helps you make a choice. So you can just get going on something instead of, just always being kind of stuck in neutral and, always wondering, okay, well, what should I work on? I got like 10 ideas, got like 20 ideas. You can really just sort through things a lot easier this way. So that's really all I had. If you have any questions, hit me in that email. It's at martinw@95 Media Group. And you can just hit me in that email, and I will answer whatever questions you have. Hopefully this will be a help to you. Hopefully it will be a blessing to you as it has been to me. And that's it. So happy idea finding, idea filtering. And like I said, any questions, just reach out. Thank you.